We've heard about antibacterial soaps, if you use them constantly or not, they're not good for you. And I've noticed that if I use them too much, the hands start drying up and look a little whitish and stuff.
Exactly. Well, I'm not a scientist. I'm a home cleaning expert. But what they're actually saying is there's no evidence that these antibacterial soaps and gels are any more effective in preventing illness than just plain old washing your hands with soap and water.
So are they doing more harm than good?
They can. These products usually contain a chemical that's very harmful, triclosan, and obviously when you can use soap and water, you should. These shouldn't be used instead of soap and water. It should be used when it's not available, when you cannot get to a sink.
What about these hand sanitizers that suddenly have become so popular? Now I wish the heck I'd have thought of it. Everywhere you go now, there's a hand sanitizer.
Yeah, a little dollar for a bottle of goo. Again, the principle is water and soap have always been the most effective at fighting illness. And you should wash your hands more frequently during flu season if you're trying to avoid colds and flu. These gels and sanitizer wipes should be used just as an alternative when you can't get to the sink.
Sure. Do you see any sort of fight against it now, or are people saying, don't use these as much? Is there cutting back on manufacturing? What's going on?
Well, I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing in the industry, but they're still studying it because new data suggests that possibly the risks associated with these products don't actually outweigh the benefit. So they're still studying it. And I'd say rule of thumb when it comes to chemicals, no matter what it is, they should be used sparingly and used only when necessary.
Cleaning industry consultant Debbie Sardone on the line with us. Debbie, how can we educate people a little better? I mean, what appalls me is that I've been, in the restroom with sometimes top executives who will use the restroom and walk right out without ever, giving a glance at the sink, much less going over to wash their hands.
Well, I always say we cannot control what other people do or don't, but we can always control what we do. And so this is the time of the year to just wash your hands more frequently. You're not a germaphobe if you do that. You're actually fighting illness. So just wash your hands and let him get sick.
I love it.
And Debbie, is there somebody saying you say you're not a germaphobe and things of that nature, but is there a better way to educate kids about doing this and getting it started at an earlier age?
There really is. You just need to make hand washing fun and make it a habit and a part of their daily activities. You don't have to go overboard, but you do need to teach children all of those basics about washing hands before you eat and after you visit the restroom and after you've been coughing into your hands. So just a little more information, a little more diligent, but children are children, and we're all going to catch a little bit of illness during the flu season, but you can reduce that risk just by washing more often and coughing into your shoulder instead of all over your hands.
And apparently the Japanese have it right, because you go to a Japanese restaurant, the first thing they do is hand you a warm hand towel, moist hand towel to wipe your hands off.
Exactly. And that is the old-fashioned way to clean our hands, and it is the most effective and safest way. So water and soap, that's what we need.
Debbie Sardone, keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Appreciate it.